looked horrible until he got hurt.
So, but this is why and I've said it to you before, I'll say it to you again, the Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo discussions I think are important. Because we then end. You're right. Debo is not having a great year. Debo Samuel's a great.
So we can stop referring to him as an Avenger.
No,
is he going to be in the Hall of Fame somewhere?
No, the Avengers is guys on the offense who have been all pros. That's what I said. So that's why it was Kittle, Juszczyk, CMC, Trent Williams, Debo, and Brandon Ayuk.
But are you an all-pro now?
No, right now he's not playing like it. But how much of that is because his quarterback's not playing like it? Like I don't think
who's having a better year between Debo and Purdy?
Purdy. Okay. So, but here's where I'm at. Okay. They have, I think, a slightly above average defense by the numbers and by the eye test, but let's just call it dead average. Okay. Let's just call it dead average. They have not great like they did last year, but above average skill position guys, right? They have.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I think that if we were to stack up all the teams, Kittle, Debo, Juwan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk. I think that is above average.
How are they playing now? I'm not in the names. I'm in the how.
But how much of that is because the quarterback's not playing as well? Just let me.
Christian McCaffrey averaging 3.7 yards a carry.
No, so
that's
he is
Purdy's fault.
No, that is not, and he was hurt. But I think they had a solid running game absent of Christian McCaffrey before with Jordan Mason. You agreed. So they have good coaches. They have an average defense. They have, let's just call it average, so we don't argue about it. Average skill position guys. So if you have a really good quarterback, that's the recipe to be at least a good team. And
they're not a good team?
No, they're not. They're 20% to make the playoffs. They're 5-5. They're supposed to lose this weekend. No, they're not a good team.
Your guy, Matthew Stafford, were they a good team without Kupp and Nakua?
No.
But I thought Matthew Stafford's like the 5th best quarterback in the league.
No, I think he's the best quarterback in the NFC, and part of that might be based on who he has been.
But he's just you said if you have a great quarterback and average everywhere else.
Yeah, because now that they have their guys, they've won 4 out of 5. And I don't think their defense is as good. But Purdy's never been without all these guys. That's the thing. Purdy loses Brandon Ayuk. He's had the other guys.
He's never had Debo as an Avenger.
Okay, well,
I mean, really, as a Pro Bowl, you make the Pro. You are one-time All-Pro. That doesn't make you an Avenger in the way you use it.
Okay,
he doesn't have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley.
Definitely.
Let's stop acting like he's just got this stacked
receiving core right now as your guy Jordan Love. I think so. I think Juwan Jennings, Debo,
I think there's a little deeper. And you got Debo is a great football player, or was a great football player. But part of that was his running ability, his toughness, his running after the catch. He was never like some incredible just receiver. He was never just
he was a jack of all trades.
Yes,
agreed, which is what made him a great player.
And he's not that now. McCaffrey's not what he was. Juwan Jennings. He was their third guy.
And do you agree? I think Juwan Jennings is as good as any receiver the Packers have. I think Juwan Jennings.
The Packers have a lot of depth.
Right, they have a lot of Juwan Jennings.
And to your point, and I love J-Lo. Brock Purdy's passer rating is like 5 points higher than Jordan Love's.
So
I'm just saying.
I think that in the Shanahan offense, your passer rating is going to get a built-in bump, and we saw that with Jimmy. And I think
great though.
Well, he had a year of better than 100, and so I think we're seeing and I think Shanahan unintentionally said it. He's playing the same.
So there you go. Nick Wright just really questioning how good Brock Purdy is. He thinks he's just an average quarterback. Sometimes he's used the word good, but a lot of times he says, look, he's just an average quarterback. If he doesn't have all this crazy talent around him, George Kittle playing at an all-pro level, Debo Samuel playing at an all-pro level, Christian McCaffrey not playing to his peak like we kind of saw last year when he, was the offensive player of the year. 49ers just kind of average. They're sitting around 500. Brock Purdy's numbers are not through the roof like we saw the last couple of seasons. Brew saying that he thinks he can be like Drew Brees when his career is all said and done, and Nick is like, nah, I don't think so. I mean, it's been definitely a big drop-off this year for Brock Purdy, but 49ers health-wise as a team, it's a different story this year. Last year, for the most part, the 49ers were fairly healthy throughout the season. I mean, all teams deal with injuries, but, we just didn't see this same type of injury problem that the Niners are having this year. I mean, last year, for the most part, Purdy was even able to go through all the practices, throw the football. He wasn't really facing things like we've seen him face this year when it comes to injuries. I mean, we don't even know if he's going to play on Sunday against the Packers. Kyle Shanahan kind of alluded to that, so we'll kind of see what happens, but there's no doubt there's been a big drop-off for Brock Purdy this year. I mean, his touchdowns this far through the season are just not as high. The interceptions are way up. So that's really bringing his passer rating down significantly when you look at last year. I mean, he's below 100, and we didn't really see that the last couple of years prior to this season. Brock Purdy was just lighting it up when it comes to things like yards, touchdowns, a low number of interceptions, passer rating, air yards, air yards per attempt, all those things. Brock Purdy was at the very top of the league the last few seasons, and you've definitely seen him have kind of a drop-off, and, this latest injury is not going to help him at all. John Lynch actually came on KNBR this morning and shared an update to Brock Purdy's injury status. So Purdy sustained the shoulder injury during Sunday's game against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Shanahan didn't really reveal where that occurred. You could kind of see a few plays in the game where it could have happened, but even Shanahan said, hey, we don't know exactly where this injury occurred in the game against the Seahawks, so we didn't know the exact play, but he's dealing with the shoulder problem. He's dealing with this sore right shoulder, so it's really limited Purdy in practice this week. It prevented him from throwing in the team's first two practices this week. The 49ers have another session that they participate in today, and this is heading into that game in Lambeau Field. Lynch admitted that neither Purdy nor the 49ers know exactly when this injury occurred in that game. Lynch said, I know that he kind of fought through it throughout the course of the game, and I'm not saying anything debilitating, but I did see him during the course of the game throwing a lot in between. Anytime there was a pause in the game, he kept throwing, and so I think at that point, you're probably feeling something, but I think he was so focused on trying to win the game. So Lynch here just saying that Purdy kind of fought through it. We've had a plan to try to quiet it down, and Wednesday didn't do any throwing for Purdy. So there was no throwing for Purdy on Wednesday. Kind of went out there and just did practice. Thursday, started to do some throwing and then went back inside, did some rehab per the plan. So kind of limited with the throws there on Thursday. Lynch said we'll see where he's at today. Hopefully he makes progress and we can have a shot at it this weekend, but we'll see. I think it is tenuous. So Lynch revealed that Purdy underwent an MRI earlier in the week. So we feel good about where it's at from that standpoint, Lynch said, but still you have to be able to go out and operate. And so we're kind of figuring all that out. Brock's going to show up here today, and we'll see where he can go in terms of practice, and we'll make some decisions accordingly. If Purdy cannot play on Sunday, Lynch stated that Brandon Allen would step in as the starter against the Packers. Both Allen and Josh Dobbs have taken significant practice reps this week as Purdy continues to recover. Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs would be both ready, but Brandon would get the first snaps, Lynch stated. So, Lynch revealing there that if Purdy cannot go on Sunday, it's going to be Brandon Allen over Josh Dobbs. For 49er fans, hopefully they don't see that. Hopefully Brock Purdy feels better and he's actually able to go for this game against the Packers. I mean, every game right now is a must-win. The Niners cannot really afford more losses. I mean, if they want to get in the playoffs, if they want to have a chance to win this division, I mean, especially in the division with all those losses to the division rivals, it's going to make it tough at the end of the year. They're going to have to get red hot, surpass the Cardinals, and really get ahead of everybody if they're going to win this division. Because if it comes down to the tiebreaker, it's not looking good for the Niners losing all of these divisional matchups already. So, in that case, if they can't really pull completely ahead in the division and get out in front of the three other teams in the division, the wild card might be something that they could pull off. But I want to know what you think about it here. Again, Nick Wright just really labeling Purdy as an average quarterback. He makes comparisons to Jimmy Garoppolo. So let me know what you think about it in the comments section. I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this, and I will talk to you soon.